My arms were stretched high above me. I couldn't see, I couldn't speak. I could only hear their footsteps. 2 sets closing in. I was breathless, trapped, and I had no idea what they'd do next. But I wanted them to before we jump in. This one came out a little, faster than it was supposed to, but I couldn't wait to share it. Let me know if it still hit the mark for you. Let's begin. I had already said yes. There was no turning back now. The sheets were clean. The lights dimmed. Just enough candles flickered across, the room casting soft shadows over the space I'd prepared, deliberately, obsessively down to the last detail. I kept adjusting, things that didn't need adjusting, wiping down surfaces, straightening pillows, anything to keep my hands busy. I walked back to the mirror one last look. The black lace fit just right, draping softly over skin. I hadn't shown in a long time. I turned slightly, checking the back. Then the front again. I hadn't dressed to hide. That was the point. My heart was racing. Not with fear, but with something harder to define. Sharp pulse of anxiety and anticipation, tangled together in my chest. I had no idea what to expect. Only knew what I had asked for. I slid a finger along my collarbone, breathing out slowly. Every part of me felt alive, hyper, sensitive. The cool air moved over my skin, heightening everything. I sat down for a moment, then stood up again. The door was still locked, still quiet, but both of them were coming. That had been the agreement. I thought about saying no, about changing my mind, about texting and calling it off. But I didn't, because beneath the nerves I wanted it, all of it. Everything I'd never tried, never allowed myself to want. That was what tonight was about. No pretending, no control, just surrender. And then I heard it, 3 slow knocks. It was time. They stood at the door. Both of them. Neither spoke. The tall one stepped forward first, his movement slow and deliberate. He didn't ask if I was ready. He didn't have. To something in his presence, calm, towering, quiet, left no room for questions. He stopped inches from me. I could smell the faint scent of leather, his jacket. Then, without a word, he lifted his hands and slipped the cover over my eyes. The light vanished. My world narrowed to breath and sound. The air thickened. My breathing changed. I heard the door clicked shut behind me. Then nothing, just the hum of silence and the awareness of my own heartbeat. I was already shaking, and he hadn't even touched me yet. Then I felt him behind me, close. His hand brushed lightly over my waist, then settled there, warm, heavy grounding. I held still, uncertain, tense, but I didn't pull away. I didn't want to. His fingers traveled lower, adjusting the angle of my hips, moving me like I wasn't in charge of myself anymore. I let a meek, small shift sent ashok through my legs. My breath caught. When he nudged my knees apart, I obeyed. The cover over my ears heightened. Everything, his footsteps, the whisper of fabric, the sound of his breath. When he stepped in closer, I felt his chest graze my back, the firmness of his grip around my hips, the steady pressure as he guided me further into his control. Then he moved. No asking, no warning, just doing exactly what I'd asked for. My mouth parted on instinct. A sound slipped out. Quiet, needy. My hand lifted slightly, then hovered, unsure of where to go. Unsure of what I was allowed to do. I'd never felt so exposed, so vulnerable, so incredibly alive. He was slow at first, but never soft. He handled me like something to be claimed. Position tested, made to respond. His rhythm was steady, unrelenting. Like he was teaching my body how to listen to. His every second dragged and surged at the same time I tried to stay composed, to hold still. But it didn't take long before I couldn't. Every shift sent a jolt through me. My breath fractured my legs, trembled. I was spiraling fast, hard, and deeper than I thought I could go. He adjusted his grip, holding me tighter, making sure I didn't pull away. I didn't need to see. I felt everything. His grippish rhythm, the raw control that stripped away thought and left only sensation. The pressure built. My mind blurred. I moaned louder than before. I didn't care who heard, and then I unraveled it, rushed through me, sharp and sudden in heat, release, collapse. My body clenched, my breath broke apart. I gasped, out loud, helpless. 2. Stop it, trembling under the weight of it all. When my knees started to give out, he held me through it. Firm, silent, steady. Only when it passed did he let go. He stepped back without a word. It stayed where I was. Unsteady, trembling, completely undone. I'd never been touched like that before. Never surrendered like that. And the part I didn't expect and needed more. The second man. Closed in. Slower. Heavier. He didn't speak, just approached with quiet certainty. Like we both already knew what came next, I sensed. Him. Before I felt him, his presence was heavier. Denser, different hands closed around my wrists and raised them above my head. A firm hold followed, steady and certain. My arms stretched high and stayed there. I barely had time to process it before a soft band slid between my lips and fastened behind my head. Now I couldn't see, couldn't speak, couldn't move. He said, "Nothing." Then his hands reached my thighs, confident, unwavering. He shifted my stance and stepped in. I staggered, slightly. The tension above held me. His fingers spread into my skin with practice, control measuring how far I'd let him take me. There was no pause. He handled me like someone completely in charge. No build-up, just motion, pressure, and certainty. He adjusted my hips and moved me into place, setting the rhythm on his own terms. My body jolted with every shift. I gasped against the band. The sound went nowhere. He moved with purpose, measured, unrelenting. My knees wavered, but I stayed upright. His grip never faltered. Every motion sent something deeper, pulsing through. May moaned behind the cover, helpless, overwhelmed, and flushed with heat. It was more than I expected, and I couldn't stop. What was coming, my body took over the pressure. Rose too fast, spilling past every limit. I thought I had. I came apart, shaking. Where I hung, head tilted back. Breathe, exploding in short, fractured bursts. He held me steady, carrying me through it, not letting go until every wave passed. Then everything stilled. He stepped away, and the quiet swallowed the room. I didn't collapse. I couldn't have stayed there. Suspended, trembling, covered, breathless, completely undone. I was still restrained, mouth covered, eyes concealed, barely upright. My arms aft, from being held so long above my head. My legs shaking beneath me, breath shallow through the restraint. But I hadn't come down. Not fully. Not even close. I felt the shift first. The thick air pulled tighter around my skin. Another presence entered. Slower steps. No voice, but I knew he was back. A new grip found my waist firmer, more decisive. My body tensed. But it didn't matter. I couldn't move. The other man was still there. He never left. I was caught between them, lifted, controlled, completely open. Then came the movement. They adjusted Mal, like I weighed nothing. My feet were spread wider. My back arched. The support above creaked with the shift. One of them stood behind me now. His presence heavy against the curve of my spine. I didn't need to guess what was coming. The pressure arrived. Fast, not slow, not gentle. Just a shift that felt foreign, overwhelming, and unstoppable. I reacted instinctively, head thrown back, breath caught behind the cover. One of them encored my hips. The other braced my legs. I was locked in, place claimed before I could adjust. The second man moved in closer. His hand circled my neck, not tight, just there. His weight met from the front, and then came a second rhythm, both of them moving together, one behind one in front, unyielding and tense, perfectly in control. There was no pause, no build-up, just motion, sharp, relentless. Their movements took over, measured, unrelenting. I couldn't see them. I couldn't speak. But I felt everything. The tension, the heat, the weight. Where I'd never been pushed before, physically, completely and underneath it, all the way. My own body responded over and over. It should have broken instantly, but I didn't. I needed it. I didn't know whose hands gripped, where, or who shifted me. Next, only that every movement hit deeper. My body was lit up, desperate aching. Nothing existed but sensation. They didn't slow down. Sometimes they moved together sometime, out of sync. Overlapping movements, alternating control. No space to think. A hand gripped my hair. Another guided Maiken. My body shook between them, muffled. Cries lost in the restraint, and still I wasn't finished. The first wave came fast, rushing through me in hard bursts, knocking the strength from my legs. But they didn't let go. They held me upright and kept going, each motion driving deeper. The second wave came slower. Eric again, arms, straining against the support. My body trembled in their grip. Mouth parted but silent, I didn't think I could take more. But I did. I felt them together, overlapping each moment, pushing me further than the last. And then I came, apart. The final wave tore through me, sudden and blinding. I didn't cry out, didn't breathe. I trembled so hard I couldn't hold still. My thoughts scattered, my body faltered. I wasn't in control anymore, and I didn't want to be. They held me steady as I unraveled again and again, until there was nothing left. Only then did they stop. The room fell still, their hands slipped. And away. But it stayed in place, still, covered, still unable to see, still shaking, still not finished. This one was rushed. I'll admit it, but I still hope you enjoyed it. Be honest. Have you ever met a woman who left you speechless, one who went further than you ever expected? What happened? Tell me in the comments. I'm reading the all. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, so you're first to know when the next video drops. Thanks for watching.